right, y'all, we're live.
The live has started.
All
I
right,
hope
so
I'm able to see. I hope I can
picking
see the
up,
comments too. But if I can't see the comments, then that's cool. You just gonna have to.
picking,
You just gonna have to be at the helm. Go ahead.
just
I
gonna have
don't
to be at the
see.
hand
Well, there's nobody here but us right now, right?
right
Right,
now.
right,
That's
right.
that's it.
So you want
And I am pulling up. Can y'all pull up to see if y'all see any comments? Let's
That's what I'm trying
see.
to see now. I'm just seeing live. I can see live now. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure
that's
like
all
when
I
people start coming in, it'll probably show something. But I'm pretty sure you probably gonna see it first. You might wind up seeing it first. But it's
Yeah,
showing live. I'm seeing live. So
we got one viewer. I think that's Cheryl. Hi, hi.
we'll go down. We'll go down.
What's
Hi,
up, Dave?
Cheryl.
Right, let me see if I copy.
Okay, so back to what we were discussing. You said
Hmm.
they were worshiping Frederick. You were saying they were worshiping.
Well, back then, right before the dawn of pre-Christianity, as they would call it, Zeus, the Christos, was all there was, and Zeus was everywhere. And it was when the advent of the Hamashiach came in, and that's when everybody flipped it over. But what they did with the church, because if you remember, it was Constantine that came in and started changing everything. And then all of a sudden, they started meshing all of these paganistic beliefs together with
Together.
the actual belief itself. So all
Mhm.
of that, they brought in Zoroastrianism, sun worship, all of it.
So belief systems were based on, what are you saying? Paganistic
Yeah.
rituals?
I'm
Okay.
Well,
gonna
paganistic
take
belief.
that. I'm gonna take that a step further.
Okay.
If now you think about this, let's say let's say it was me and my mate, because let's just go male and female. Me and my mate, Frederick and his mate, right?
Hmm.
And let's say if you take Pangea, which Pangea was a big landmass that was it was nothing dividing it, right? So let's
Correct.
say I start on one end of Pangea, and Frederick, me and my mate start on one end of Pangea. Frederick and his mate starts on one end Pangea. Throw you in the mix too. You and your mate start on one end of Pangea, right? So if we don't have to worry about anything, we can just traverse it freely, right? So let's just sit up and say that through that whole journey, we're looking around everything that is around us that I know for a fact that I didn't create, and my mate didn't create that or whatever. And so we get to the point to where we all come together. One of my first questions is gonna ask you, hey, you see that thing up there? The bright thing that stays up there for a minute, then all of a sudden it goes down. Say, did you put that up there? Like, and you're gonna be like, nah, I didn't do it. And did you put that? No. So now it gets to the point to where we can't explain something that happens on a day-to-day basis and at time, and okay, I can explain the fact that okay, it does this and it does that. So from my perspective, I look at it, the belief system is what we go by, the things that we did not orchestrate and the things that we can't change, but yet it still governs everything. The it still governs everything like the way that it should. We're not affected by it. It provides for us, and
Hmm.
it gives us time. And it's like no one does that. No, I mean no human has done that. So whenever
Okay.
Frederick was talking about the whole, like what Constantine did, like and I've been there too, and so like it comes to me, I think it comes from a place of power. So if I have the knowledge and you don't have the knowledge, it's either it depends on what type of person I am. Hmm, you're gonna have to come to me for this. There's gonna be a
You just
price.
gave the definition of occultism.
Appreciate it. I ain't know exactly what it was, but but hey, I can get behind it. But to me that's what it is. So like he said, like Frederick just said, he said they took you take the truth and you split the truth up in so many different things and you just give it back to people your way. And this is like watching your favorite movie. It's I could sit up and watch Infinity War 5 different times and we watch the same doggone movie, but then I get something out of it and you get something different out of it, and it's like if I take this out of it, but hey, one thing about it is everybody was trying to stop Thanos from getting the Infinity Stones. That's the one thing. The takeaway is gonna somewhere be common, but we're going to be like, what can I use this for? Oh, you didn't know this, but let me put this on your brain, and then when you get the mind blow thing, like, oh, then because black people, we good for this. Oh, I put them on that. I put you on that, and they want to stick their chest out. If it wasn't for
Hmm.
me, you wouldn't know about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like through history, all of that. Even whenever they went through, like when you go through like Frederick said, sun worship and all that. So we get to talking about Ra. We get to talking about all of the Araharts. Well, that's what in this book I read called Ancient Future. Like when they talked about Jesus and what Jesus was, it was how you say the words, like Arahart or something like that. So you had different ones. You had all the different martyrs. You had the different martyrs that did like Jesus did. So when you have like all of the sacrifice, the sacrificial, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So when you
So
have
let
like
me
all
ask
of
you
that,
this. Let me ask you this. So when you have different perspectives, different um, beliefs colliding, combined, you think that confuses people in how they set up their personal beliefs and how to navigate in the world?
Only if they're the type of person that doesn't think for themselves.
that part,
That part.
that part. And I'm gonna tell you this though, because look, like I said this before, because you know, working at Continental, I mean not Continental, but working at the place that I work at, it's different walks of life. There's people that have different beliefs.
Hmm.
There's Muslims, there's Buddhists, there's all the different denominations, right?
Hmm.
If I walked in there and I was coming from the space that we come from, and I can sit up and say God, I know that God is a universal term for the one thing that we cannot explain, the one being that we cannot explain.
Okay.
If I never say anything about that and just use God, you wouldn't be able to tell if I was a Muslim, a Muslim, a Christian, a Catholic, or
I
anything
disagree
like that.
because even with
Because,
even with all beliefs, they have their own terminology that they use.
but what I'm saying is this: is if we're talking about an
Right.
event, if we're talking about an event, and I sit up and talk about how, and I say something about God, about how good this is, or what, I'm going to eventually talk about the one thing that is going to always bring us back to
The one
the
thing
common point,
everyone,
the one
well,
thing
not
that
everyone,
we
agree
can't
on, there is a higher
that
being.
there's a higher power, that
All
there's
right.
something like even when I go into the people, like I found out, or I started thinking about what an atheist could be. like like
Hmm.
when we first hear atheists, it's like, oh, they don't believe in God.
They don't believe
Like
in
they
God.
don't believe in God. Okay, so but when you think about an atheist, even an atheist has to know that there's something greater than them. Because even if you come to me with that Big Bang theory, I'm gonna be like, okay, I roll with that, but tell me this: who lit the fuse for the bang to even happen? Like
Exactly.
for the bang to even happen, who lit
That's a
that?
very good
Who put
question.
who put everything in order? Who put everything in order for it to become come to be for it to be combined in the first place, and for something to just boom and then everything happens. So there
Well, think
has to
about
happen
this.
something. Like,
Have you ever blown up anything?
oh, we come on now. We
This
done blew up
example.
all types of. We done blew up cans and we done blew up.
I don't see no universes.
So a
No
universe.
universe
So
came
look,
out of
look, look,
blowing
look.
up things.
So for you to have. So have you ever been to? You've been to a Fourth of July celebration, a New Year celebration. So you have to have some type of organization to say, okay, I'm gonna set these fireworks off right here. I'm gonna set this one here to do this, and I'm gonna put this one here to. So somewhere down the line, there has had to have been some part of planning. So you mean to tell me that it was a big old bang that said, okay, I'm finna do this, and then Jupiter finna go right here, Uranus finna go right here, the moon finna go right here, the earth finna go right
Something
here, and we're gonna set
colliding
this one thing,
with
we're gonna set
boom,
this one thing in the middle and
but
hold it all
everything.
together. Somewhere down the line, there had to have been something bigger and planned. So my point is, we can all be in the same room from different denominations. The one thing that we will agree on is there is something bigger than all of us that governs everything.
Okay.
So whether or not, okay, go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing. That's the one
Yeah,
thing that we
that's
can
the one thing we
all
can
agree
all
on.
agree. Because like after you get through arguing with somebody, then we agree to disagree, and we're going to agree that there's something
Mhm.
far more. There's something bigger behind the screens. The thing about humans is humans always want to be right, and that's why you hear what I say. I be like, you humans are lost. People hear
Mhm.
me say that, and some people
Don't
have a
understand.
problem. Some people have a problem with me saying like I like I
I
like
say the
I
same
like
thing all the
fucking with
time.
people. I like fucking with people because I be like, when I be like, I know exactly what room to go to, and I be like, dog, I swear you humans are lost. I be waiting on the first motherfucker to be like, and what are you? Like, I be waiting on them to be like that. Say, okay, just because you said that, now I know who you are. You're somebody
Okay.
that does not have you are either you don't have knowledge of self, or you looking at yourself as a lower form, and you have to look at yourself as a higher form because
Good point.
but you have to look at yourself as a higher form because what you are comprised of is the highest form, and there is no when you look at that, and you should be proud to know that an abundant, let me see, I want to hold up, give me a second. An infinite, an infinite amount of intelligent energy.
Like that.
Intelligent design.
Yes.
Exactly.
So I
So
mean, because some people don't know what divine is, so I'm just gonna say the definition: an
Intelligent
infinite amount of intelligent divine energy decided
love
to create an organism such as us. So you want to sit up here and you want to sit up here and say, well, I'm just here. We're gonna
it.
get into that other point. We're gonna get
Yeah,
into what I'm
that
finna
with
get ready to make. But go ahead.
so with that being said, if we can all sit back and agree that there is a higher being,
Something,
something that
everything.
designed us, everything else, you are a higher being, you are important, you are meant to be here. With that being said, knowing that as a basic foundation, the belief systems that we set up for ourselves in our personal walk, do
Flawed,
you
flawed,
exactly, I was going to say. So the
flawed.
beliefs that most people have, what would you say are some of the beliefs that most people have that are flawed?
Okay. Be some of the belief systems that we are flawed, that I would say is flawed is
We're not speaking of
okay.
religion
Right,
right now.
right,
We're
right,
speaking of things
right.
like
I mean, it's simple. It's you not knowing
not
what
knowing
you
who
are
you are.
incapable of, not knowing who you are and what you're capable of. That is the
Mhm.
most flawed thing ever. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not.
And
You disagree?
The
okay,
most
go
flawed
ahead.
thing ever is me following some other clown that don't know more than me.
The blind leading the blind.
Blind leading the
So
blind.
I totally agree with that.
Flawed.
I
That,
told that's it. That is. So look, but you can we okay. The reason why I always go back to religion because that is what was forced down your throat. You was indoctrinated by that,
yeah, we took
and we
that
took
like castor oil. I know.
it every day. It was every day. So whenever you get to so it's like it's hard and difficult for me not include that not include that aspect when we talk about belief systems because your belief system was given to you. You didn't come into knowledge of. Go ahead,
Frederick
Fred. He's
disagrees.
shaking his
Go ahead.
head. Go ahead.
Shaking his hand. What's up, Frederick?
Now, I understand that that may be the norm for most people,
Mhm.
but for me, I even took a stab at atheism. I took a stab at just looking around and trying to figure out what was going on and living by my own will. So I know for a fact that there is a higher power. I know for a fact that following men will do nothing but get you in trouble. And I
You
know
said
for a fact
following men would do
Following
nothing but
me
get you in trouble.
get you right. And I see with that, and I can understand that. You have to really you have to really look at that. Now, I don't. Yeah, that can go with everything. That can go with religion. That can go with that falls under peer pressure.
it
That
falls
And
under
falls.
peer
that's in the Bible too, right?
correct. That's where I got it from.
Yeah. There you go. See, I told you, me and this dude finna get along. Man, everything. Look, I'm gonna take it like this. I'm gonna take y'all on a. I'm gonna give y'all an analogy. Let's say I'm a chef, right?
Hmm.
But I'm like a magician with it or whatever, and I got this herb or whatever, and I say, well, if you ingest this, it's gonna open your third eye. It's gonna give you this ability or this, okay? But then I know that I just can't give it to anybody, and I have to just let people think for themselves. So let's just say, everybody like pizza. And I always go to this. Let's say I make this pepperoni pizza, right? And I
Mm.
put the ingredients, the cheese, the mozzarella, the pepperoni, all that on a pizza that I know the part is. But in the crust, where there's just bland and it's just the end of the crust and it's just normal. But I put the thing that I know that you need in the crust. So in order to get what it is that I know that I wanted you to get, you have to eat the crust. But me knowing that everybody ain't gonna eat the crust. Some of y'all just gonna eat the cheese and it up into the crust, and you gonna throw that bitch away. You know what I'm saying? And so, if by you eating that, by you eating the crust, it's like, okay, well, that tells me that you want it all. You want to know
So you call
Huh.
them the crust.
what's
Call him
happening.
what?
So you call them the crust. You call them truth the crust.
Yeah,
It's like,
calling the truth the crust, because you went ahead and you took the whole thing, and it was like, well, I know that everybody ain't gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't get it right then and there, it's not saying that you won't ever get it, because
So,
realistically, when I was younger, all I would eat was just the part of the piece of throw it. And when I got older, it was like, okay, I finally ate the crust. It was like, hey, that's part of it too. But sometimes people come into truth different. Some people come into truth uh, at different points in their life. So once you
that
start
is true.
coming in the truth, and like now it's like, dang, now that I know I got this crust, I can take this garlic butter, dip the crust in the garlic butter, and it's just that much better. You know what I'm saying? At first I wouldn't touch the truth because all I knew was this right here was the best part of it right here. It's like,
So
man, shit, the truth is like medicine. You don't want to eat, you don't want to take your medicine. You know what I'm
that
saying?
kind of
So go
goes
ahead.
back to religion.
It always goes back to
It
religion.
always go back to religion. The way that the lessons are taught, half information or misinterpreted information.
Thank you.
Um,
not when I teach
so
mine.
What you say? No,
what you
what?
say?
Not when I teach mine. I
I
give you
know.
scriptures.
But see, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
exactly.
see,
So
they give you
yeah,
scriptures. They just don't give you all of the scripture.
they don't
They
give
give
you
you
off the
a
scripture.
part they give
But you
you
have
that part
to
that it depends on who's teaching it. See, you have some that knows what they're teaching and they give it to you. A lot of people call that fire and brimstone teaching. They trying to scare the bejesus out of you. That's Frederick. Frederick is a fire and brimstone teacher, okay?
Man,
And then you
boy.
have
not
those
always.
that
But sometimes it's that
not
love.
always. Sometimes
Love
it is.
is everything.
And then you have people like me that teach. It's kind of sugar coated and bitter at the end. Kind of.
Oh,
It's
so
like
you
that
do the
pill
bait and switch.
bait and
So you do a bait and
switch.
switch. You
I
got that
give
silent. So
you.
you got that Silent Hill lesson. You ever
I
seen
take
Silent Hill, Frederick? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
We'll get on that
you, man. I can't
later.
stand that. Yeah, we'll get on that. That
We'll get
movie,
on
I
that
did not
later.
like that movie. But I'll give you the truth. I'm gonna give it to you wrapped up in the situation of your life, and then I'm gonna hit you with that scripture that lets you know where you done messed up at, what you need to
Because it's in
correct.
there.
Because it's in there.
It's in there.
That's how I do it. Because when you come off, raw, Frederick, I'm. When you come off, you ain't making the people listening automatically throw their defense up. Automatic.
Only when they're not an alpha.
When they're not.
When they're not an alpha, you have to remember not everyone are alphas. Okay.
But I'm only dealing with the alphas.
Yeah, that's why I can handle your stuff. So, now then you have people that they use motivational methods.
Tell
Oh,
those things.
I wasn't going to do that. I love
No,
it. I
that's what
wasn't
you
going
have
to
me
do
for.
that.
That's what I'm here for.
You mean psychobabble BS?
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do that because Lord knows I love the Osteen family. Love them. He does teach differently from his father. He really does. And there are people that are receptive to Get up out there and you got it. It's just the inspirational aspect of the scripture.
That's that itchy ears thing.
That's the what?
That's the itchy ears thing.
Tell me what I want to hear. Tell me
Okay,
what
that's just like saying, I want to go get in a car and go somewhere. Well, you got a lot of people, they would go and buy the most expensive car they can, and they don't have no gas money. So they can't go anywhere in the car.
Nowhere in the car.
can't go nowhere.
You can have all the inspiration and motivation that you can shove and put in this one spot. But if you don't have the ability to apply that inspiration and that motivation, you got no gas.
And that's the thing. I don't believe they are being provided with the tools needed to apply what they are learning. You know, it's a feel-good moment. That's all. Yeah, just tell me what I want to hear.
That's the first time I heard that term. I like that. I like that.
Again, from the Bible.
It's it. And that's the thing. It's in there. That's why sometimes whenever people sit up there, they ask, "Hey, did you read the Bible?" I say, "I read the Bible, but man, you know, I used to have this job, and I would do nothing but sit in this room all day. It was a security job, and I used to sit in this room all day. And this is when I was going through the whole trying to get closer, and this was back when I was with your girl. I told you about that with So Well, and her dad was there every Sunday. Her dad at church, because he was a pastor, and I was like, man, let me get stronger in this here. So I would take a Bible every day. Most people would just read scriptures and chapters. I was in that bitch reading whole books. And but every time, but before I did, before I would pray and be like, okay, pray for understanding or whatever, and read the Bible or whatever. And so and that's when I started looking at what all these life lessons that was real. And I said, you know what, basically, it might be a lot of things with these stories, but the one thing you can say about the Bible is it always takes like life circumstances and puts it in parable, but you can't like dispute that shit. Like when it says stuff like what's the one thing that I always usually go to, from the rising of the sun to the going down of the same. Like you can go outside and you stand outside for 24 hours and then you see the sun go up, or you see the sun vanish. That's true. What goes around comes around. Dang, that's true. Go hit somebody. Just go outside and hit somebody. And
watch you get hit somewhere down the line.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like all of that stuff is like, well, you can't.
So he's talking about universal laws.
Yeah, so like,
do what now?
Like you can't escape that. So it's like that part is true. So it's like whenever you go into the Bible, so that's like when I tell anybody, I say, man, if you go into the Bible and you read it, please try to read it for the things that you see that never change, and not for all them stories and stuff like that. Because we learn from stories, but that's not. But we learn from stories, but that shouldn't be your takeaway.
Okay, so we got a comment from Rochelle.
All right.
She say, when you see the person looking expensive and have an expensive car, but they living in a hovel, she cracks me up with this. Their focus is more on appearance within the world versus their spiritual self. So I agree, because we can go out here at any given time and see someone what I would call fresh and fly. And if you go to their residence, you want to know why they driving a Lexus, living in an apartment. Why they driving?
Your ass got a 2020 Dodge Charger living in Haverstock.
Right. See, stuff like that. That's her way of saying their belief system is about the worldly view. Most people. Which brings me to part of the belief system. Everything is temporary. Everything is temporary. And I listen to people complaining, stressing, busting their behinds, trying to get that mortgage, trying to get that new car, trying to get those new J's, the chain pieces, but yet their world is crumbling from the inside out, and they don't know why.
Okay, let me
on the
interject a
wrong thing.
thought.
Interject a thought.
Okay, so everything is temporary, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I want to make a barbecue. So am I going to and buy like the cheapest ribs I can find, or am I going to look for the best cut? I'm going to eat them both. It's
Yeah,
temporary.
You
It's
know
temporary.
what? Hey, but check this out.
It's temporary.
Check this out. This is what I do. I've actually done this yesterday. I want to try to, like, if you get into like with the brand, like you said, everything is temporary. Like, I actually did this yesterday. I went and got some Hormel bacon and got some great value bacon. And I said, let me put both of these in the oven and see exactly what the difference is. Because if I can still bring out my type of flavor and I'm still achieving what it is that I know that I'm used to, then what is the point of me sitting up and saying that this one is better than this one? Or what is the point of me saying that, oh shoot, I done just blew the motherfucker wide the
Very
fuck
good
open
point.
because I done just blew it
Very good
wide open because the doggone great value tastes just as good, if not
point.
better than the Hormel.
And I
Only
have
difference is Hormel got commercials.
my cousin. My cousin taught me a very good lesson. See, with that also ties us back to money, because while we don't have that money to fall back on because we're busy spending extra trying to get that top shelf, when that lower cheapest one tastes just as good as that top shelf.
Let me tell you this too. You know, when you go to your businesses, you go to your
Mhm.
favorite restaurants. Like, for instance, and I hate to throw a little shade, but I am the one, and I do that too. We all know that Olive Garden is just Italian Denny's.
Hey, I love my Olive Garden.
There's nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's cool. If it tastes good to you, then that's all that matters.
But
But
I
we know
understand
but you know
$10
good
for
and
a
well
soup.
on them, but you know good and well that on them commercials, they soup all that stuff up to make it just like, oh, you're just like family and this. And you looking at that, you actually think before you come into the knowledge, you actually thinking this gourmet chefs in there cooking your chicken parmesan and all this to feed all these people. You know good and well it ain't hundreds of chicken fillets being garnished to this right when you order that shit. It's the cheapest form of whatever that is for them to sell it, and they soup it up to make it taste good. The thing about it is that if you go to one like before your biggest business or your favorite restaurant or one of these, like for instance, Italian, the place I told you where I go get them wings from, like I'm pretty sure they didn't go get Holly Farms chicken. They probably got Tyson or one of them school. They probably found the school wings and the government wings or whatever, and they got them wings. But you ain't worried about that because that chicken tastes good. You ain't worried about
I
that.
was just
So it's
about to say,
like
so what about that point of view of I'm gonna go get what I want when I want
I'm gonna go get what
it?
I want when I want it. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm gonna throw Saltgrass in there, Texas Roadhouse, all of them. Like, how you know that them steaks that's sitting out there, you know what I'm saying, is the ones that they got for that day. They said, but then you sit up there day after the day after day. Where is the real shit at? Like, where that realness at? And I promise you, your porterhouse may not exactly be a porterhouse, and it was the cheapest quality ever. You know what I'm saying? So
yep.
when you got people that sit up there like and we going back to belief systems and
Hmm.
the culture, we let's throw in the hip hop culture. In our hip hop culture, most of our music, most of our music and these rappers that sit up and they talk about how they have this and Balenciagos and these different types of shoes and this is like, dude, I promise you, if I sit up and wore a pair of white shoes that didn't have no markings on them, as long as them bad boys is clean and I project what I project and I'm color coordinated or whatever, you're not gonna say anything to me until you get into uh till you until your sights come in to realize that hey, these just some regular shoes. But before you got up close and personal up on me, I
Thought
was
you
the
was lying.
stunnest, I was fly as
Mhm.
everything. Oh, wait a minute, them ain't yours. Oh, what's wrong now?
that take me
Because they
back
ain't
to
really Jordans.
school. You know, growing up, how your parents do your shopping and stuff for you, and your parents didn't want to spend all that money. That's how we ended up with Pro Wings.
Man, I'm trying to tell you. What was that? Hey, what was that? Will Smith, what Fresh Prince? Parents just don't understand. He said, you go to school to learn, not for a fashion show.
That
Like,
is.
and there it
I heard
is.
that coming up a lot.
Yeah.
You know, so
And
that
that's the main reason they came up with the uniforms.
do what? Yeah, and then they came out with
They come up
uniforms
with
because
which was I thought was real good, right?
you thought so.
Yes, because
I thought it.
and the reason why I said it was cool, man. Look, you heard me say this before.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, you heard me say this before, and a lot of people shunned on this and they laugh at you for wearing the same damn shit. Like, okay, we know you gotta watch, but if you ever watch some cartoons or whatever, like remember Inspector Gadget? Inspector Gadget had the trench coat and it had
Yep.
and then whatever. And he would say, okay, I'm gonna go change my clothes, and he go in his closet and it ain't nothing but the same damn trench coat, the hat, the clothes. Like, you know what I'm saying? And remember me telling you, I said, man, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm finna start dressing like a cartoon character. Like, you already know what my character is. And just because I put on the same thing, it's like if I put on the same, he wear the same thing every day. Now, it'd be a different story if I wore the same thing every day and I was funky because it was the exact same shirt and I never washed it but if I had the same exact shoes, the same exact shirt and pants with it every day, but I smelled like heaven, like, what you gonna say now? Only thing you come up to me and ask me is be like, dog, when you gonna wear some more clothes? And in my snapback, I'm like, dog, what is it to you? What?
Well, see, the thing is, I actually do that. I actually wear the same black T-shirt and the same black.
That's number 4 right there. Number 4 reason why I'm gonna get along with this dude real good.
And the other thing they asked me is, how many black T-shirts do you have? How many pairs of black pants do you have? I got 2 weeks worth.
Nobody understood. Nobody understood that. Like, it's like, you know one of my favorite animes, Dragon Ball Z.
Mine too.
It does not matter how many times.
Did you hear that?
Yep. Number 5. It does not matter how many times you see Goku with that same gi on or whatever, you knew his character. You talk more about Goku's character than you did his gi. It did not matter how he threw that Kamehameha. That damn gi ain't had nothing to do with that. You knew what was about to either come out of his mouth in a certain situation, and you knew that he was your go-to person for a certain situation. You didn't care what he had on. So that's how I am. I'm like, man, I just sit up and wear whatever the heck it is I gotta wear. And it's like, you know what? It's like, why do I need to keep up with the Joneses? The one thing is like, man, this is the biggest belief system, one of the biggest flawed, one of the biggest, not the only, but one of the biggest belief systems that I look at is like when people spend money that they don't have to buy shit they don't need to impress people they don't like.
Bam.
You know, that's exactly in my book, The Poor Man's Guide to Breaking the Poverty Cycle.
Hey, elaborate on that book for us, Frederick.
Please.
Well, basically what I was looking at was I learned a lot of different things being in maintenance, how to go through the system, how you're supposed to interview, how you have to set yourself up for 8 different types of jobs so that you always have options. What's the one thing a rich man has and a poor man has? Or what does a rich man have and a poor man don't? Options.
It has options.
He has options.
Options. So the only thing you can do as a poor man is to educate yourself to level the playing field.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I have more skills, I have more options. I'm gonna make more money.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking at everything that they're doing, they're bundling everything. So now you got to have 5 different job skills in one job anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you know, the more you bring to the table, the more money you make.
They haven't.
We're coming out of poverty. It's about skill.
It's about skill.
It's about knowing your stuff, working smarter, not harder.
Mm-hmm. And this is what book is this again, Frederick? The Poor Man's Guide
to Breaking the Poverty Cycle.
Do a plug. Where can we get that book?
Amazon.com. All you got to do is type in F.D. Sparkman. All 3 of my books will show up. Awesome. The first one, like you was talking about, The Beginner's Guide and Workbook, How to Read and Understand Your King James Bible. That's the first book. The second one is The Poor Man's Guide to Breaking the Poverty Cycle. And like you said about friendship, the friendship manual I just put out.
Awesome. Great. Good deal. Good deal. Frederick D. Sparkman books can be found on Amazon.com. All right.
Yeah.
Good deal. So back to our belief systems. As far as since we've determined that they are flawed, humans have flawed belief systems. How do you think that they can adjust their perspective to move further in life,
I already said it.
other than
True.
reading your book?
You know, I didn't say nothing about my book. Truth.
Truth.
When you
What I'm saying is, even though they have this truth, what they need is how to apply it. Because understand this: the more knowledge that a person obtain, they are shaking up. They're shaking up. Okay, and once a person is shaking up, they're either gonna spaz out or take it and run with it.
Perfect example. I'm finna
what's
give
the
you
definition of wisdom?
What's the
definition of wisdom?
Mm-hmm. I
Applying
mean, people talk about it all the time,
about it all the time.
but
Applying.
wisdom is the ability to do. So
Yeah,
the
it's applying.
application of knowledge is the formation of wisdom. When you learn to apply knowledge, they call it wisdom. That's why while you're gaining knowledge, you must have instruction and to actually have knowledge.
Now,
that you can.
most of the issue is that we don't go ourselves seek the knowledge. We want it to be spoon fed to us.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What's this big crap? You got a mouse in your pocket? I'm telling you now. I'm a truth seeker. I'm a truth seeker. And there are a lot of crazy truth seekers like myself out there.
There
They
are.
will
Deep dive.
But then
You can't speak to anybody because nobody wants to hear it. But nevertheless, we're I guess you could call us the silent majority or the silent folks, because I can see it. Trying to explain to you will be a waste of my breath because you don't want to know the truth.
Don't want to know.
If you did,
And that's what I was saying. We don't go seek. There are people that don't go seek that information. They want it given to them. It's like they want to. It's all right.
You can't understand.
It's more like they just want to wake up with the master plan already done.
For it. It's level. You level 2, and you're trying to get into the level 5 area, and you ain't ready for the level 5 area.
Well, the Bible says wisdom is a principal thing, but in all you're getting, get ye understanding. I could take you and lock you in a room and play nothing but wisdom scriptures, wisdom thoughts from all over, from any time era to any time period there was. I can show you wisdom 1 billion times. Getting you to do it once on your own, now that might take an act of kindness.
Right.
You're right. You are right. All right, y'all. We have 15 minutes left on this belief system. The bottom line of it is truth, knowledge, wisdom.
Don't forget instruction.
Instruction. Now, we mentioned earlier, one of us mentioned earlier, I think that was you, Frederick, about trust. When Ro was speaking about the pizza, the trust is in the crust. Now, a lot of
the truth is in the crust. That's the word.
Trust in the crust. That's what you said.
I kept juxtaposing the words. I was trying to say the truth is in the crust, but I kept saying the trust is in the crust.
With that, like you said, people are not ready. I said they're either spaz out or they're going to take it and run with it.
No, everybody is always ready. People are too afraid. They're too worried about what other people think.
They're going to say that.
Busy doing anything but looking at something else because they don't want to think. People are mentally lazy. That's why we have these couch zombies Netflixing it out right now.
Hey, yeah. And I know we're taking shots at these major players out here today.
Right.
We're not trying to take shots at them. These are just
examples.
Think about
it ain't, you know what, like I usually like to say, I usually say this. There is, in a way, there's nothing wrong with that. You want a Netflix, you want a Hulu,
Netflix and chill,
or whatever. But this is the difference. Most people only look to being entertained. Very few look to be edutained. I like to look at
I
I
like
like to
that.
look at myself as somebody that's edutained. And the reason why I say this is because when you watch movies all your life.
Hmm.
And the only difference between a good movie and a bad movie is the high notes that make a good movie is how much faction did you get? Notice
And that's
I
why I
said
like
faction.
a lot of things. You learn something.
Jurassic, okay, yeah, like for
You
instance, let's
learn
take
something.
Jurassic Park. Let's take Jurassic Park for instance. You cannot be oblivious to the fact that somebody didn't try to find a sap encased mosquito and get the DNA out the damn mosquito for millions of years and say we finna. That's how the hell you. That's how the hell we got people sitting up trying to bring back the woolly mammoth because they did try to do that shit before. They tried to bring back the fucking woolly mammoth and and all of that stuff. Then you had the Raelians. I remember if you probably don't remember when I told you about that back when Bush was president. They had
Mhm.
this doggone group of people called the Raelians when they got into doing all the cloning and shit. And they was trying to what it was the Raelians was trying to do was trying to build this this superhuman or the super person. That shit came from Star Wars. That's why all them clones. I'm telling you, when they had the
This is
clones in
what
the
I
Clone
tell
Wars, the stuff when they had the Clone Wars, and you watched that whole dog when the Star Wars prequels came out, Attack of the Clones, when Obi-Wan Kenobi went to that planet, and he had because he found out what was going on about this army being built for somebody that wasn't even there, and they found the specimen that was the one dude for them clones. Remember when they started talking about the sheep? And they started
you.
cloning the sheep and all of that. The Raelians was the ones that was cloning that figured out how to clone the human. Bush shut that shit down. And that shit went public, but nobody caught on. I caught on that shit. I was like, did I just
I
hear him say this shit? He did say it. I'm like,
and I normally
he just said this shit.
Bush, you say?
when
Yeah.
you
If it
want to know
wasn't,
what's
if it
going
was
on,
under, it was under Bush. It was under Bush when he was
Well,
in
how do they
president.
gestate? How do they gestate these clones? That's why you used to have the cattle mutilations.
Hmm.
hmm,
A lot
So it's
me,
been going on a lot longer than that.
longer. Yeah. So it's like,
You got right now.
so
You got cats that glow in the dark because they're sitting there gene splicing.
hmm.
mm-hmm. So
There's a
it's
lot
a
of things
lot,
that
man.
go
It's a lot.
on.
Yeah.
And I say this is I understand what you're saying about the movies. I say if you want to know what's going on, watch it. Watch the recent released movie. If you want to know where their mind is, their head is, what they're planning and everything, watch the most recent released movie because their secrets are hidden in this entertainment.
That's
Be
true.
edutained. That's it. Man, look. Speaking. Well, I'm gonna go back to. I'm going back to Black Panther. I'm going
Mhm.
back to Black Panther. What did Suri call Homeboy after he got up? After he got done
Colonizer.
getting
You
colonizer,
see,
she
they're
called him a
colonizer.
colonizer. She said, "What are you doing, colonizer?" He said, "That's not my name." He's like, "I know who you are."
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So and then you take Michael B. Jordan's character Killmonger, and then you think about why he had the mind frame of what he did, because he was like, man, my people been over here struggling and fighting while y'all over here hiding. All of that stuff, and then you know me. I don't know about you, Fred, but I'm a Star Warian. I watch the heck out of Star Wars, and pick Star Wars. I pick Star Wars like I'm like, man, the symbolism in that whole series is just it can teach you a whole lot about what the Jedi Order is and how and what
Well, they
happened with
actually
Luke
have
Skywalker.
a Jedi Order in Satanism,
Exactly.
and they also say that Satan walks around with a Darth Vader suit. So, I mean, you can take some of that with a grain of salt, but like they say, the truth is stranger than fiction.
The truth
Mhm.
is stranger than fiction.
Mhm.
Yep. And that's why
Yes.
I like to say, that's why I call it faction. Like, do you watch science fiction? I watch science fiction because you have to have parts of the truth in order for your
Mhm.
story to be believed. That's what makes a good story. And that's why a lot
Mhm.
of people say the Bible is the greatest story ever told. So you have to take take like those parts of the Bible, like you take the crucifixion story in there, how Mel Gibson was able to do the Passion of the Christ, and like not so many people that don't even, because we always, as black people, we have that doggone stigma that, hey, these jokers don't come to church unless it's Easter Sunday.
Easter
So you
Sunday.
get the Easter Sunday, and then you go to eat, you get a whole multitude of people at church on Easter Sunday, and then they do the crucifixion story. They do that. Then Mel Gibson brought out Passion of the Christ, and I've never seen it, but so many people that I know that wasn't really inclined like in church, and they be like, oh my God, did you see the Passion of Christ? Oh, I cried. Oh my gosh, what he went through, what this is. It took a movie for you to come to that which you had already been around your whole life.
That's because they won't read.
You said what?
They had pastor reading that to them.
Yeah,
Follow along.
that's the difference.
The pastor was doing the reading. They following along. Because when they open their mouth, they sound like they have a third grade education.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
When I said being given, yeah, people are wanting to be given their information, wanting to be told, do this, do that. Told. What you say now, Frederick?
Spoon-fed.
Yeah, spoon-fed. That's what I said earlier. People are busy wanting to be spoon-fed instead of seeking out the knowledge themselves, the truth themselves. Being able to sit back and watch Passion of the Christ. Now, I got to admit, I sat back and watched it because I wanted to see what he did with it. Now, when I sat back and watched it, it touched me even more than just sitting back reading it. Yeah, reading it, I felt it. I could imagine it, I could see it, but taking the words, putting it on screen, is like I was right there with them. It's like I could feel it more. It became even more real than just something I felt in here, the compassion I felt. Most people, I would say, no, I'm not going to say most people. I'm going to say some people, when they go back to read, to try to obtain this knowledge and truth from themselves, being the fact that they don't understand it, it's falling on deaf ears. It's unable to get into their system to be able to adjust their belief system as to progress in life because they don't understand it. I'm guessing y'all agree with that when y'all both silent.
Yeah, because you got people that it's like a baby, man. You can't give a baby solid food; they ain't ready for it yet. So you got to get their ass their formula until they able to get to where they can digest all that.
So when do you get to a point?
That's also in the Bible.
It's in there.
It is.
It's like Prego.
It's in there. So you said so like you said, when do you get to that point? It happens for every. It happens. Man, look, see, you ain't really a Dragon Ball fan.
No, I'm not. I'm more of a Thundercat.
But the first time Goku went Super Saiyan.
I got a copy of that.
What you say? Boy.
Also the first time he went Super Saiyan 3.
Man.
Oh my.
First time Goku went Super Saiyan, you like he hit. You have to hit that one point, that breaking point, and you can't. It's not something that you're gonna force. It's not something that you can anticipate. Something has to happen that is unexpected. The reason it was the buildup.
Hold on.
He killed Krillin. When he killed Krillin, but you had already been like, this dude had already been drowned. He had already been beaten. That didn't happen. That wasn't what did it. It was when Krillin got killed. When Krillin got killed, that was it.
Let me ask you this question. Would that be what we would equate to rock bottom?
Not necessarily rock bottom. It's not rock bottom. It's just that one thing. That one thing is just that one thing that pushes you. It's the push.
It's a primal motivator.
Mm-hmm. Primal motivator. I'll take that. Okay. So when you say when did you get to that, that's how you get there. It's like, all right, you go Popeye. Enough is enough. I can't take no more. That's all I can stand, and I can't stand no more.
That's that when my mother used to say, when you finally get tired and you say enough is enough, when you done had enough, you will make a change. So I guess when people then had enough of a certain situation, they will go back
Then
and
you can
start
go ahead.
seeking help in the.
That's not always true.
All right, enlighten me.
For some people, I have this thing that I call clicking,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be banging
Trying
my head up
to
against the
put it together.
trying to get it. And then one person will say this one phrase or show me this one thing, and everything
Fixed. Mhm. I
and
get
next
that.
thing you know, I wake up. Or I got it. I master it, and I'm able to move forward.
Mhm.
So, so basically, it comes down to we need one another. You never
Yeah.
know what the
Boom.
next
That's
person
it.
may have
Mhm.
that can help
Once
put things in a better perspective for you, help you move on to the next
again,
level.
Perfectly
I
worded.
gotta. Once again, I gotta go back. Once again, I gotta go back. Dragon Ball.
Okay.
In order for Goku to have given Gohan some insight on achieving Super Saiyan, Goku had told him. He said, "It does not. It responds to a need, not a desire. The power responds to a need, not a desire. You can't sit up and just be like, I'm gonna do it. No, it has to. You got to think about. It comes from a trigger. So in order for Goku, when he went Super Saiyan the first time, he realized it was a trigger. He didn't know what was happening to him. He just knew that once it happened, and it was like you have to think about what it is that I had to do. Oh, now that I've done it, I've got to the point to where I've mastered it. Now there's going to be others, especially my son, that's going to need it. If I never tread that, if I never experienced that, I wouldn't be able to help make the journey for you a little bit more, to give you a little bit more direction. Not saying I'm making it easier, I'm giving you the direction. So just by me telling you, the power doesn't respond to it responds to a need, not a desire. That should be one thing to help you reach that focal point. Now you're going to have to find out the other stuff on your own.
Insight.
Insight.
Insight. There you go.
And that's why I enjoy certain artists out here, because I feel as though their projects, what they put out, for me, it's music. You never know when you're listening to something, you can find that trigger.
Yup.
You can find that trigger. Even reading, watching a movie. There, you can find education in everything if you apply yourself. Edutain. There it is. Edutain. Stop looking at everything as just entertainment, something to gossip about, or create a new reality TV show of. So we have 3 minutes. Any last words you want to say, Ro?
But you just said reality TV. What's reality? What's realistic about the crap that you're watching on a reality show?
Not a goddamn thing.
Not a thing.
It ain't doing nothing but.
They need some sex, drugs, or drama. That's it. And we're trying to get away from all of that and unite like we should.
So you know what?
You got a mouse in your pocket? I don't watch that crap.
Nope, I sure don't. You know what? I'm gonna try to wrap this up. I'm in this group, and we were talking about the black heroes, the black superheroes or whatever. Well, what they did was they put this thing talking about The Color Purple is about to be rebooted. And I was like, my comment was like, I'm tired of seeing that. Like, we are so tired of seeing I'm tired of this 12 years a slave and showing that we was a youth. And I said, look, you know what? And I said, you know what? How come we can't get some of our Tyler Perry's and some of our
why do we have to always keep going
these
back
worlds?
to
That's
where
it.
we're trying
And
to
it's
come
like,
from?
yeah, it's like why we go. So give our young sons more of these heroes. When we grew up, all our heroes was white. Lion-O was white. Duke from G.I. Joe was white.
Yeah.
He-Man was white. Like all of them was white. So why we can't have like now Tyler Perry, bro? You got Tyler Perry Studios. You mean to tell me we can't have like one of our people write us up a screenplay for us to have a trilogy like Star Wars, where our people, and somebody like us is the helm of this. Let's make it like I ain't finna lie to you. And I know I'm finna wrap this up. You know how movies was where they got some movies where all the black people died. Or they might have movies where it ain't not one black person in it. It's just it's like one or two in it. So if you watch them long enough, and I said, dog, all these movies is telling me one thing. Some of these people writing these movies to tell me that they long for a world where black people don't exist.
Don't
They
exist.
they
Well,
they say we're cool with not having. What's that?
You ever heard of the King Alfred Doctrine?
Nah, that's
what is that?
okay. That's new
That's new.
to me.
That's an elimination of black Hispanics that was planned back in the 80s, or they call it Rex 84.
Okay.
And it was
So-
basically about rounding up all blacks and all Hispanics and putting us in camps.
Send me a link to that so I can look into that, and we're going to touch on that on another show.
That's a bet.
All right. Thank y'all for chatting with me today.
Already.
Hope y'all enjoyed our belief systems. Enjoy the rest of your day.